How would you say we will see Lily focus more on herself in this new season? And is that something you feel like she's being forced to do, or is she a willing participant in that?
I mean, Lily just hit rock bottom for season two. You're gonna find out in the first couple of minutes of the episode. Oh boy, poor girl. I feel really bad for her. But hey, you know what? I relate to her. All my girlfriends relate to her. And most women relate to her. So that is why I love her, because she's messy and she makes mistakes, but genuinely, she's seeking for what we all seek for, which is love, our dreams, our career, and in a way, navigating the pressure that society puts on us, that our family puts on us. So, what makes her happy? What makes what stop seeking validation from somebody else, but only seek it from ourselves. So that's the journey that Lily takes, and that's the journey that I feel most women are constantly struggling with. So I'm really happy that she finally prioritizes herself and is learning how to be present and taking control over her life.
Absolutely. And speaking of love, Rome, there's a scene in the first episode of the season where you and Lily are first coming to the realization of your breakup and y'all toast to love being beautiful. In what ways do you feel like this sets the tone for their relationship throughout the season? And how would you say this is a huge difference from where they were in season one?
Yeah, I think we reached a point where we wouldn't be able to go backwards after that had been revealed. And it changed just the fabric and you know, the dynamic between these two characters, because they still long in aspects for each other and still trying to navigate how to have your cake and eat it too. You know what I mean? And so they're trying to figure out how these pieces will still fit because
Let's just say the
you know.
audience is going to see a lot of really nice cake from Rome. A real nice cake from Rome.
Emerald, Emerald heard the word cake and
Well,
just was
I had
like,
a real
"Here we
beautiful
go."
point, you know. Besides that, my point is still very, very eloquently presented. So hopefully you got that. Thank you.
Yes, I did. And Desmond, without giving too much away, where would you say Nick falls in this Lily love triangle, so to speak? And will we see him kind of finding more of a voice when it comes to his true feelings for her in the second season?
Yeah, look, you've given me a nice out there at the end for not giving too much away, because I think really a lot of I think what's beautiful about the series is that it's not some forced love triangle. There is some sort of for Nick and Lily, there's a character growth that in some ways almost means growing together. Who knows? I think it's more of a factor of circumstance and character growth than necessarily like these two people should be together. Which I think is really nice. There's a reality to that, and it feels better to be able to portray that than in some sort of like arbitrary, than rather than making it like some sort of arbitrary, narrative link up. It does feel of the characters. Yeah.
I love that. Well, hats off to y'all on a great second season, and thank you for your time today. The first episode starts with a bang for the relationship between Jorge and Henry, but as time progresses, we see your character kind of get cold feet, so to speak. Why was it important to touch on the layers of a relationship where there's your family who is like super welcoming and supportive, and Henry's is kind of different than that?
Yeah, I mean, I think that well, first of all, I think that the kind of cold feet motif is not universal, but I think is widely relatable to many couples. Um, so I think that I just think that that bit of it was just true to life. I think that it was authentic, and I think that as far as Henry's parents are concerned and his family and his world, I would say that, both families are very, very accepting and excited about this new chapter in their life and also just their relationship in general. I think that it just speaks more to Jorge's neuroses about he's not a calm, cool, and collected individual. So I think that Henry very much is. So Henry's assimilation into the Diaz family dynamic was much easier just because of Henry's essence. I think that Jorge's a little bit more difficult. So I don't think it was a family issue. I think it was just a Jorge issue.
Which made it way more fun to watch because I don't want to give it away. But that's what made it so like it was entertaining for me as Vinny to watch Mark play those moments as Jorge, and also to play Henry on the opposite end to watch, because there's a whole bit I don't want to give away that Henry and his parents kind of put Jorge through. It also is it shows like how families are different. Like they just have different ways of showing their love and affection for one another, and that's ultimately what it ends up being about. And I think it's fun that we play with that. And then it's unfortunate that as a result, we see the neuroses from Jorge come out, because he's usually at a 10. He's kind of, and he gets like that. But yeah, I think it's important that we show that kind of effect that loved ones have on one another in a relationship, and what it feels like to actually go through that challenge of meeting someone's parents and family before you decide to move on in your relationship and move forward in whatever that next step is. So I thought we captured it pretty well, and it was just really fun and super entertaining for us as the actors to actually do it once we got it on its feet. So that's definitely going to be a highlight for y'all for season 2.
Absolutely. And speaking of season 2 as well, Vincent, can you tell me just how do we see like the layers of Henry pulled back by being introduced to his family dynamic?
Well, I think Henry starts to definitely feel more relaxed. Like, Henry, we learned from the first episode of season 1 that Henry is, from a Filipino family, and there's a lot of similarities between a Filipino family dynamic and a Latino family dynamic. And so there's definitely that overlap, but there's also the differences. So in season 2, we really see Henry relax into belonging to the Diaz family dynamic. And then we see that challenge that occurs when Jorge meets Henry's parents. But then ultimately, at the end of the day, it ends in love. That's the through line. So there's this, we were saying it earlier, Mark, there's just this underlying acceptance. It's not just with our LGBTQ queer representation, but there is this acceptance of one another and where we're at. And that goes for the loving relationships, like the romantic relationships we have on the show, as well as the familial. And that really gets highlighted in season 2. So we're going to go deeper into all those themes, and you're going to hear conversations and moments that we didn't see in season 1. And season 2 is also a little hotter. Well, it's pretty exciting, it's sexy, but yeah, it's pretty wild.
I love that. Well, thank you guys so much for your time today, and congratulations on season 2. In what ways do we see the relationship between Saul and Dr. Miles Murphy evolve in season 2?
Yeah, so in this season, you're going to see a lot more conflict. You're going to see a lot more of, we're stepping out of the hospital, and a lot more of real life situations of you're around my family now, then what does that dynamic do? How does that dynamic shift for my family and for you? And seeing my dynamic with my family, what would that do for you? So you see a lot more conflict, and you'll see Miles learn a lot more because of that conflict, but also you see them kind of like adjust both for themselves to kind of continue to love each other, but also to grow together.
Absolutely. And Todd, what does your character teach you about the nuances that come with love in this season?
So much. I think, as human beings, we just need to be really willing to communicate and listen in relationships. I find that to be the most important thing we can do to stay in relationships, in life in general. And so, I think we see Miles and Soul really get into that this season, and have like really important big conversations in a really deep, authentic way that we've never seen before on TV, and really come out stronger because of it. And I find that to be the same in real life as well,
I definitely agree. And Isis, one thing that I kind of noticed is kind of foreshadowed in the first episode is just, you have your own things going on in your relationship, but still finding time to be there for Lily. How would you say that your character balances that in this season?
In season two, okay, because
Yeah,
I
in
feel
season
like
two.
I love in season two. You kind of see it was similar in season one of like the first episode with our dynamic, Soul and Lily. I just think being a good cousin, kind of being like the older sister Lily never had, or the older sibling Lily never had. I know how that is because I'm the oldest sibling, but I'm also the oldest cousin of my generation of cousins. So I know that feeling when I was younger that like everyone would ask me, or even my friends, everyone would always ask me the advice. So I fell into that naturally because I feel like that's who Soul is. They're the person that gives good advice, is always grounded and kind of really helpful. So I would feel like you would always go to a person like that who you can trust and believe in their judgment.
Absolutely. And then lastly, for you, Todd, I wanted to know if you could describe season two of With Love in either 3 words or a sentence, what would you say?
Hilarious, heartwarming, and sexy.
Ooh, I like that. And Isis, do you have 3 words or a sentence?
Yeah, I would say, wait, Tara, you said heartwarming already?
I did, but we can thesaurus
I-
at least.
I would say loving, chaotic, and family.
Mm, yes, yes. Well, thank you guys so much for your time and congratulations on season two.
Thank you so
Thank you.
much.